What's going on, guys? Keen Flame here, back with another video. And in the blue, we have EricBR, the infamous Twitch chatter. And then on the right side, we have GreenSeasSquash playing Odin. And remember, guys, I actually uploaded a new Odin build order a few days ago. Squash is actually gonna do this build order in this game, so I was like, you know, it's good to see the build order against a computer so you can actually know exactly what to do. But on the other side, it's also good to see it in an actual game, right? So there we have it. Squash is gonna do the build order this game, and actually, GreenSeasSquash is the guy who made the build order. So he is the master. Anyway, um, you know what's the funny part though about the build order is I was talking to Squash when he was actually making his build order, and like he came up with this in like 20 minutes. And like, I don't think this build order has been ever done before in like 20 years of AOM. So it just shows like if some smart people just go in a computer game for like an hour, they can come up with some crazy shit. And I believe he actually came up with like three or four more build orders too that are all way more efficient than what we use today. So this will be very interesting to see. So basically, the premise of the build order is like you gather wood first, and then you send a dwarf and a gatherer to the gold, and you get actually you delay your hunting dogs a little bit, and you do not gather your hunt yet until the hunting dogs kicks in. So it's super efficient, and the reason you do this is so that you can have three ox cards out before you advance, and you can advance before 4 minutes as well. So if you do it perfectly, you're gonna advance at 355, which means that you can apply the pressure so early on, which is so good, especially in tough matchups like against Zeus, right? So it's just such a good build order to know, because it's just gonna change the matchup completely. Anyway, so basically you send two to wood and you send right away to the gold, and then you send around nine to food. If you want to know exactly the specifics of the build order, just watch the other build order that I uploaded a few days ago. It's the same one as GreenSeasSquash is doing this game. I'll link it somewhere in the description below. Uh, but yeah, so he's just going to advance very fast, and let's see how Eric is going to deal with this. Because honestly, like I think most of the people who play Norse they struggle a lot against Zeus. Like just the hoplites taking down a building so fast, restoration, the two Minos, Odysseus being a fucking tank. Like Odysseus is just a one-man army. So it's like whatever advantage you can get early on, like that helps Norse players a lot. So and Eric is not a bad player either. Like he's given, you know, you always see him on the streams playing against the best players, so he knows what to do. Like he's not a bad player at all. He's pretty good. So this is definitely like a good matchup to see how well the build order works. Anyway, so you can see he's gonna make the last ox card, and then he's gonna switch 5 villagers from food and gold to the wood line, and now he has 3 ox cards, and he's up in so fast, dude. So he sends out the ravens immediately. He sends out the Earlsark, and he's just looking. He's gonna look for the enemy hunt, which is a lot easier to do with Odin than it is with Thor, because Odin gets the ravens, right? So he can just scout like 2 times as good as uh, as Loki and Thor. Well, maybe not Loki, right? Because Loki has a spy. I mean, Loki can just spy the gold villagers or the or the food villagers, right? And see right away, dude. Right away, he's already finding the hunt. So with his super fast advance, Eric has to back off right now because he knows the Herseer is gonna come, the Ulfsark is gonna come. Oh, by the way, here's a little tip, right? I see most Norse players. First of all, they advance for very late, right? Second of all, they just leave their Ulfsark and Herster at home to build houses and to build longhouses. But actually, what you want to do is send the first Ulfsark and first Herster out right away and push off the enemy of their hunt. And then the second Herster that comes out actually builds the house and the longhouse. So that way you keep the pressure and you also make an army as fast as you can, right? So he has the Raven on the wood line as well. Just he can drop a forest fire down anytime he wants, which he's probably gonna do, or he's gonna wait a little bit. Okay, so he's gonna send the Valkyrie, and only now 444 Eric advances to the classical age. This is a really good Norse map though, but I'll also do a game where on Alfheim where it's not really a good Norse map. Maybe it's a decent Odin map, right? Because of Great Hunt, but this is definitely not a good, or this is actually a decent Odin map. Anyway, let's see what Eric is gonna do this game. So it seems like from the two villagers on the temple, it seems like he's going for centaurs, and so this is gonna be interesting, right? Because should you do a full-on rush as Odin against centaurs? That's the question, right? I think most people would do that, but let's see what Greenseasquash is gonna do this game. So, okay, it's gonna target the low HP villager. It's very, very important when raiding as well. Always like hovering over the villagers, checking which villager is low, and then hitting only the low villager. And that way you can actually get a lot of villager picks. So as you can see, Greenseasquash is actually not really investing that much into army yet. Because I think he realizes he doesn't see any barracks, he doesn't see any archery ranges. So he pretty much knows that Greek is gonna go centaurs here, which means that um, he might go for a faster rogue maybe. Because I mean, I mean, what else can he do, right? Like he could go for a second TC, but then at the same time, right? Like the gold mines are very far forward, so that wouldn't seem like the best idea. And if you go full army, I guess you could go for a gold starve, right? But you might get rated so much that you actually still lose the fight. So I guess all you need to do here is just put the Hersers on your hunt, on your wood line, right? And then just defend and then go heroic, which is exactly what he's doing. And so he only needs like 8 on gold because of that, because he's not making army, right? And then he's sending dwarves to the goats to get a really fast heroic timing. And then, for example, let's say Eric has like 6 centaurs, right? You can just frost that and then you just win at a large gold mine, right? Okay, so nice, nice micro by Greenseasquash. He garrisoned and his villagers right away into the sentry tower. And yeah, so Eric is going for the archer and centaur combo, which is, I guess, a good combination against what GreenSeasSquash has right now. Let's see. Yeah, so GreenSeasSquash is looking for a really fast advance. Obviously, this is not as fast as you could potentially be, right? Because if you plan from the start that you're going fast heroic, you can already be heroic by now. But the problem with that is that if you're just doing it blindly, you're not adapting to the game, right? Because Eric might as well have just opened barracks and archery range, right? And if you make no army, then you're basically gonna be fucked, right? So you always got to see what your opponent is doing and then adapt him from that point on, right? So you cannot blindly do stuff like raw players do because they have bad scouting, right? Especially at Odin, like there's no excuse for you not adapting to the game, right? Because you have 2 ravens, you have the early advance, and you should have the information to make the best decision possible, right? So GreenSeasSquash is like a great player because of that, because he adapts on the fly. he doesn't just do one thing, right? He actually adapts, which is like a very very important skill in AOT. So these centaurs are just actually not doing them. That looks kind of funny, like how these dwarves were like pretending to attack, but then they went into the tower, right? Probably not intentional, but kind of funny. Um, so let's see. So even the houses, he's like building it to close off a space, because now the centaurs have to go this way and get hit by the TC fire. But if there was a little opening here, the centaurs could go from this way, right? So he's playing just so smart. Like I like watching Greenseasquash because he's playing so smart always. And now he's gonna drop down the hill fort just to secure his large gold mine, right? So all in all, man, like this is just some great adaptations being made. And as a response, Eric is actually dropping down his second town center. I'm honestly, I'm not sure if this is the right move, because if Green Sea Squash opts into like a full army now, like full heroic army with the Frost, right? Then he's basically just going to be gold starved at his large gold mine. But because Eric has been making so many centaurs, he actually still has like around 2k gold mine saved, or 2k gold saved up on his gold mine. So it's not too bad. I guess he could be fine because he also has the ceasefire, right? But it's definitely an uphill battle from here. So Eric knows he has to do something, right? Like I like it that he's like poking, right? But I mean, GreenSeasSquash is making exactly like the right units. He has the Huskarls, which are good against archers. And then let's see, he has enough favor for one Frost Giant. So he's gonna have two Frost Giants out, which is gonna counter the Centaurs if they get too close, right? Like in theory, the Centaurs shouldn't get that close uh, because they're so fast, right? And these Centaurs can barely reach over the wood line, but if GreenSeasSquash just places them perfectly, they won't be able to reach. And now GreenSeasSquash has enough army. He has the strong Huskarls. He has the Frost in his pocket. He has the Forest Fire. So let's see if he's actually going to be able to pull off like a Frost near the wood line and then burn him down with the Fire Forest. That's like a funny little combo, because it kind of negates the Frost effect of the Frost having like 99% armor, right? It gives the enemy 99% armor, so it's going to be harder to kill people in a Frost. It's kind of more like a delay gut power than it is a gut power to kill units. But in combination with the Forest Fire, right? It can be kind of be both. So I like what GreenSeasSquash is doing here, right? Because he knows he has the heroic army advantage, right? And he knows Eric basically is on 2TC still Macron, right? He's trying to catch up. And he only has he has mostly centaurs, right? That's like pretty much his army and some talks. And talks are not exactly good against TCs, right? So I think GreenSeasSquash his thinking pattern is here that if I just take TCs, like the archers cannot take down TCs, right? And I have the frost. So what I can do here is take 4 TCs and just win by default basically. This is like a chess match. Like like he's just gonna checkmate Eric, like I think within 3 minutes, and I think Eric is just gonna resign. So let's see how that's gonna go. Ooh, here could have been a nice frost with a forest fire. That would have been sick. But um, I think, man, these fucking centaurs though, that's so funny. Like they can barely reach over the tree line. So here, okay, so here he goes, dude. He's gonna take the last town center as well. And now it's like what is Eric gonna do now, right? Like all his gold mines are forward. He's on 2TC, so he has to produce so much villagers, which costs a lot of food. So it's like, what is he gonna do? Like he basically has to stop this. But GreenSeasSquash can just frost this and force fire, like frost right here, dude. That would have been so good. And a forest fire as well. But I don't, yeah, there it is. Okay, he didn't frost though. But yeah, so okay, there's the frost. I would have loved to see the frost near the tree line and then the fire forest. I'm actually not 100% sure if it's actually good, but I've done it before and it seems good. So maybe someone can correct me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's good. Like forest fire plus frost. Anyway, Eric knows like he's just gonna basically delete, like lose a lot of his army and just lose the game if he doesn't cease fire. But at the same time, it's already 4 TC, right? Or actually 3 TC only. He doesn't have the back TC yet, but he does have both forward TCs, right? So this is just like checkmate, dude. Like, dude, like honestly, like what can Eric do in this position? Like he has like the role player farms on like the outskirts of the land, right? But I don't know. I don't know why people do this, by the way. Like this is just so troll. Like at least put a wall down here. But yeah, honestly, I've been saying it for like a few years now, ever since 2.8 came out on Extended Edition. I'm not sure about Vuble, but I think it's kind of similar, the balance. But I think Odin, like honestly, I think Odin is like S tier or A tier. Like I think Odin is a really really good god. And honest to God, dude, I do not know why Norse players complain, especially Odin players. Like I do not understand why they complain about Norse being weak, dude. Because I don't think Odin is weak at all. Like I don't believe it. It's just people haven't they they just don't play as well as they should be. Like just look at this game. Like did this look fair at any moment of the game for Greek? I don't think so. Honestly, I think Odin is a little bit overpowered. This is played extremely well though by GreenSeasSquash, but uh, I don't think Odin is that balanced, honestly. And there it is, GG. But yeah, for all you Norse players out there, take some notes, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.